The owner, who was seriously ill, took off his hat for the first time in front of the dog. It suddenly realized something, looking at its owner as two completely different people than before. His eyes were extremely surprised, he was bewildered for a long time, and then began to shed tears. Then he stood up and hugged the owner, as if telling her that no matter what happened, it would always be here. Actually, a few months ago, the owner was treated for cancer. To treat it, she reluctantly shaved her hair off, afraid that the dog would worry her, so she hid her illness. After learning that its owner was sick, it became attached to her. It is not as active and mischievous as before. Every time you enter a room, you are very careful. Just worry about disturbing the owner's rest. The owner was tormented by illness, so his health was extremely weak. She lay on the bed, and she could only reluctantly raise her hand to touch its head. Today, she had to go to the hospital for treatment for the second time. Before leaving, she told the dog that she would return quickly. But the dog did not feel secure, and kept guarding the door, not eating or drinking. He waited from morning to night, his eyes filled with worry. 5 years ago, when he came to this house, he was still a puppy. At that time, it was active and naughty, always making a mess in the house. But the owner never hated it. On the contrary, he protected and raised it to maturity with love and tolerance. As time passed, it grew from a bewildered puppy. After waiting for its owner to come home, it wagged its tail excitedly and approached to greet it, as if telling its owner about how much it missed him these days. The understanding dog calmly lay on his stomach in her arms. As if using this method to comfort her, every time like this she gently comforted him. An illness had made the rhythm of life chaotic. The dog doesn't know what's wrong with its owner, it only knows that she can't go out and play with it like before. But he remembers that his owner used to take him for walks by the beach. Together, we watched the sunrise, together we hid our feet under the snow, and since the owner got sick, we have not gone out anymore. Every day, it quietly stayed by its owner's side, with the dog by its side. The days when its owner struggled with illness became not so difficult. When she was in good spirits, she even used snacks to have fun with the dog. But her serious illness required her to go to the hospital for regular chemotherapy. Every separation makes the dog extremely miserable. After the owner left, he sat in front of the door without eating. After that, another series of days of waiting began. But as soon as it saw its owner return safely, it was so happy that it forgot everything, and lay down on the ground in excitement, as if all the waiting had been worth it. While its owner slept, the dog guarded her side and did not take a step away, afraid that she would leave him again. But the warm moment of silence did not last long. The owner's condition suddenly worsened. She needed to quickly go to the hospital for surgery. The dog saw the luggage full of clothes and was immediately confused. It knew that this time the owner might have to leave for a long time. Finally, he put his toys in the suitcase. Since the owner left, the dog has been waiting for a long time in front of the door, but still hasn't seen a trace of the owner. It wanders alone in the empty room, every day having to smell the lingering scent of the owner on the new blanket. Fortunately, her surgery went very well, but she had to stay in the hospital to rest for a while. The dog had never been away from its owner for so long. The persistent nostalgia made it become thinner and thinner. It was so worried that it screamed in the room. There was no other way, so he had to let it video her with the owner. When it saw its owner, who had been away for many days, appear on the screen, it was so excited that it stood up and wanted to hug her, but its raised hand was still in the air. No matter what, it couldn't touch its owner, who missed her day and night. He picked up his favorite toy ball, as if wanting to give the owner this precious gift. Its expectant eyes kept staring at the screen. On the day his owner returned home from the hospital, the dog saw his owner happily wagging his tail. The owner took the toy ball and wanted to play with it, but the dog unexpectedly chose to refuse. He knew that after the surgery, she was still very weak. The dog lay on his owner's feet and looked at her lovingly. Hope the owner can get well soon. After a period of rest, her health gradually recovered. She can take the dog out to play again like before. The dog ran as fast as the wind on the grass. Try to enjoy this hard-to-get happiness. A dog is not just a pet, it is also a member of the family. Regardless of whether you are poor or rich, healthy or sick, the dog will always be by your side and never leave you. Human life always has to go through difficult moments. Love and warmth are like light in life, leading people out of the darkness through the swamp. The future road will be as vast as the ocean,